Hi, thank you for coming this evening, everyone. I really appreciate having everyone here. The great job the CAC has done so far. So I didn't go to Antarctica. I went to a very warmer place, Huntington Beach, California, for the winter. And I worked at Teacher Created Materials as the Hanson Fellow in Accounting. So a little bit of background info on my fellowship site. This company, Teacher Created Materials, also known as TCM, creates K through 12 educational materials. So they work really hard to make materials that help students learn effectively in the classroom. They do this through books and kits, primarily. This is a smaller company. It has fewer than 100 employees. And this is partially because it's very inventory heavy. They have a big warehouse, and the people they need are largely editors and publishers, and then the people on the backside. And their motto is created by teachers for teachers and students. This kind of emphasizes the fact that they really are here for you to have effective learning. Now, some of the departments that are in this business that I got to go through are accounts receivable, accounts payable, and gains and losses. This is different than what you've seen in the science presentations, and that they had a specific project that they went there for. For me, it was more to gain a holistic view of accounting while I was there. So it kind of went from more simple tasks to increasingly complex as I went through. So it was done in this order chronologically. In accounts receivable, I did a lot with delinquent invoices and PODs to prove that, to increase cash flow before the end of the year, to show that businesses did in fact receive the materials and that we need the money for them. When accounts payable, I worked with reconciliation of customer accounts. I worked with expense reimbursement to employees, and with benefits packages as well, to make sure that everyone got their proper compensation. And recoding, which is not the computer science type of term that you might be thinking. It's largely with the general ledger codes that you use in different softwares. So we had to move like assets into expenses on the general ledger as one of the things in accounts payable. And then finally, the gains and losses department. I got to post journal entries to the general ledger at the end of the day, which is how businesses keep track of where they are financially. And this is a very permanent record. The quarter four financial results, I made a spreadsheet to help effectively bring in the data so that we can compile the financial statements for the company. And this spreadsheet that I made had some flexibility so that we could repeat the process in upcoming quarters as well. And then the operating report, just making sure the balance between the bank and the business is set well. Some other projects I worked on during my time here, outside of these departments, one of them was a physical inventory. This is a smaller business. It has fewer than 100 employees, like I mentioned. So they don't have a lot of the automated processes that you might expect from a place like Amazon, for example. So these bins all have certain materials in them, and you need to keep track of them. And every bin corresponds with a certain piece of paper for the business. So it was like a sorting problem to check how accurate these bins were with moving materials in and out of the business. So we did this physical inventory, and then we had an audit on it from an outside business to check that we were in fact doing it accurately, and they did that with statistical sampling. Lastly, one thing I got to do was Teacher Created Materials University. This is a really cool chance to learn more about the small business, and this is my graduating class. So I've already graduated once. And this gave me a chance to interact with other departments like the editing and publishing departments, marketing, and IT, just to learn how the business functions and what their overall goals are. So it really reinforced the mission of the business. What I learned. Academically, I learned about accounting department operations, how the department interacts with the rest of the business, as well as how the department functions on its own. I learned some of the challenges of a small business. A lot of the processes need to be defined by the business itself. It doesn't have expensive software to run everything. So the employees define a lot of what it does through Excel. And so Excel. I did a ton of Excel there. Pivot tables, spreadsheets, you name it. I did it in Excel to help automate some of what they do, as well as just they already had some spreadsheets, so me helping use those. And then adaptability to new software, learning new software for posting general ledger entries and track of inventory. I had to learn this all on the job. So learning that helped give me confidence to learn more new software later on. Personally, I learned to ask a lot of questions. If you're confused, ask questions. You don't want to do it wrong if you have the chance to ask someone beforehand. Living on my own, I hadn't lived on my own before, so going to Huntington Beach, California, on my own during the winter was definitely a growing experience, just learning how to cook and take care of myself on my own. And personally, connecting in a community, it was a beautiful winter in California. So I got to play soccer while I was there and connected with some people in my off time. That was great. The fellowship impact. I worked in a small business, and I know now that I would like to work in a smaller to medium-sized business, partially because, as you see here, the broad positions. I enjoyed having multiple things that I was doing, so I wasn't just very position-specific, just learning those tasks only. I enjoyed when I had differentiation in what I was doing throughout the day. And I enjoyed personal interactions. The times when I was in the department working with other people seemed to be more enjoyable experiences for me rather than just sitting in front of a spreadsheet for longer times working on that. So I enjoyed the personal interaction. In terms of my education, formal education, I should say, I learned accounting in practice. Like I said, I got to see how the department functioned and understand how financial statements are compiled. I knew how to read them before, but seeing the backside and how the general ledger codes are used, how things could possibly be misplaced, and so you need to know how to fix that and how to understand the general ledger. I learned all that from the backside, so that was awesome. And thank you to everyone who supported me. I'd specifically like to point out Lori Hanson Wallace for making this fellowship possible. Finance team at TCM for teaching me while I was there. My faculty sponsor, Professor Knoop, and the CEC support from everyone in the staff, but also Jesse McCauley for being a great contact back at school. Appreciated that. And then to my friends and girlfriend for supporting me throughout my time there. Thank you.